I've been hunting geese for well over 30 years, and I've met lots and lots of guys who love to hunt them, but very few guys who have the guts to take them home and try to cook them. I'm here with my good friend Mark Nardelli, and as anybody who knows me could tell you, Mark makes the best wildfowl dishes I've ever had in my life. And Mark is going to show us today how he prepares one of my favorites, and that's goose Parmesan. Mark, tell us how you do this.
Okay, what we do here is we take the breasts, we cut them up in small pieces. So we're going to cut them up here in a little bit.
Quarter them or third?
We're going to quarter them. You can third them. You can half them if you want. Okay.
Depends on
This
how big
particular recipe, you don't have to make them so small because I'm going to be putting them through a machine that's called a tenderizer, a cuber, whichever you want to call it. Or some people have a little hammer. You can hammer it if you want.
Just to tenderize it.
Yeah, to tenderize it.
Now, the idea here is we're going to try to make this a bit like a cutlet.
Yes,
right?
the idea is
Like
just
veal
like a cutlet.
or a
That's
chicken
correct.
cutlet?
That's right. So you can cut it. I'll give you a little example here. You can cut it in 3 pieces like that.
You bet.
You can take it and you cut it in half if you want. It all
depends
depends
on the size you want.
how you want to do that.
Okay.
Okay, and then we put it into a machine, and then what we'll do after we tenderize it is we'll flour it, we'll fry it, and we only cook it like 2/3 because we still want it to have the blood inside the meat.
Okay, you want the moisture in.
That's right.
You bet.
You don't want to get rid of all that moisture
Okay.
because once you get rid of that, you're going to have a dry product again.
Okay.
And from there, what we'll do then, once we do it, cook it, then we're going to take some onions and peppers, chop them up. We got some Parmesan cheese, some mozzarella cheese. We're going to do a layer with the sauce that I made. And I tell you, it's going to be just great once it's all cooked in there. And
Oh, I can guarantee you
you
that.
cannot imagine.
I used to be
what
half
it's
the man
gonna
I am
taste like.
today, and
Oh.
the other half is thanks
I know
to you.
every time I cook, he gets 10 pounds on him.
Exactly. Okay, so we're cutting it. We're cutting the
Yes,
breasts,
we're going to finish cutting these up here.
and then you're going to use the tenderizer over here.
Yes, that's
One-
the tenderizer
Now,
over
I
there.
don't have a tenderizer at home, and I'm sure that not everybody does. And the way I tenderize a goose breast or duck breast or anything for that matter, I'll take a simple fork. There are some tenderizers that are available commercially. You can get through some of the catalogs,
Right.
and in some of the kitchen stores that have several knives that would do what I'm doing in one pass, just one
Right.
push.
Right, right.
Some have 42 knives, some have 16. But essentially, this is kind of my way of getting that done without the heavy equipment.
Well, what you could do also, whoever like if your local butcher there,
Oh, sure.
go talk to them, find out when they're done their day, go there at the end of the day or leave it there, tell them you'd like that tenderized. And, 9 times out of 10, they'll do it for you because it's the end of the day and it's okay that it's not inspected because they're going to be washing their stuff anyways.
Wild meat and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, the same guy who would butcher your deer.
Exactly.
Would probably
Exact
do this
same
one.
guy
Okay.
that processes your deer should be able to tenderize your breasts.
Okay, so that's the poor man's way of doing it, right there.
Yeah, it's a
Show
poor
me how
man's
you
way.
do it with the tenderizing
Okay,
machine.
well let's first finish cutting these.
Okay.
There we go. Now we're going to go to the tenderizer and show you how that machine works. This machine, it cubes the meat, as you can see. You go again one more time. And you only do it twice. The only reason you only do it twice is because if you do it more than twice, your meat will fall apart. So you just put it through there again, that's done. And then you do that with all your pieces. Again. And this is the type of machine that your local butcher should have. So it shouldn't take them very long to do it. Unless you have a friend that has something that can do it. And there we go. We're finished. And they all come out like little, it almost looks like it's been ground, but it's not. Sean, I just finished tenderizing these. What I'm going to get you to do is to flour them.
Okay.
And we're going to fry them up here. And once you start frying them, I'll show you
Like so?
Yep, just like that. You very lightly, and you can fill the frying pan up. While you're doing that, I'm gonna chop the rest of these vegetables for the
Great.
Parmesan here, and go from there. And
Okay.
go
I'll get
ahead,
this
just
done.
start frying that up, and I'm just gonna keep on going here. Again, I don't spice any of that meat until after.
Now, Mark, I've got some juice coming up through this meat. You want to take a look here?
Yep. It's still okay. You'll be okay for a bit. Once you're done putting those in, then you can turn those. Okay. My peppers and onions, I cube them real thick because when I go to layer the goose breast, and I put this in between the layers with the onions just to give it extra flavor. It actually enhances the flavor quite well. So it doesn't matter what size. You can go this size I've got here. You can go a little bigger or a little smaller, whatever. It's perfect. Your own preference on that. If you don't like peppers, you don't have to use peppers. If you don't like onions, you don't have to use onions. I just do it this way because it's just the way I've always done it. And like I said, if you can't eat peppers or you can't eat onions, then you can just make the Parmesan just with the sauce. It'll still taste good.
You know, one of the things, Mark, that I've noticed when I've watched you preparing your meals is you don't do a lot of measuring. You pretty much do everything to taste. And,
Yes.
And would you agree that that's probably, I mean, the best way for folks to do things? They know what they like. They know. I mean, we can give them a guideline, give them a framework.
I find that everybody has their own little palate in their mouth, and
You betcha.
they know what they want to eat. They know what they want to taste. Okay.
Well, for example, with your sauce, you make a great, red sauce.
Yeah.
And I bet you don't measure anything.
I don't measure nothing when I cook it. I just add to it as I taste it, and I find that also there's nothing. You got to know how to blend your spices too, because if you put too much of one spice, it might overcome the other spice that you
Sure.
put in.
You bet.
So that's another thing you got to learn too, is how to blend your spices. That's a trick in itself.
Mark,
Okay.
I've turned these pieces.
Yep, those are fine. Now turn the rest. You got it. The
Okay,
rest are
so
all ready
now
to
that
be
the
turned.
juice is coming through,
Yep.
I can turn them.
Yes.
Okay, real good.
And you'll notice that the meat looks like it's dark or burnt, but it's not. It's just the way it is. It's how it cooks.
You bet.
Yeah,
Now these guys that I had already turned, they're good to come
they're
out?
good to go. Yeah, you can take them out right now.
They're good to pop out.
Yep. And see all the juice is still in
Oh,
there.
it's tender. I mean,
Yeah,
look at that.
exactly.
You can still
exactly.
you can just see it.
You bet. Yeah. You know what I like to do with these when they're cooking like this? Is I like to take fresh bread or any kind of bread. It doesn't matter.
right.
Put a little butter on it. Throw that on that bun.
Like that?
Yep, just like that. Put it in the bread and eat
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Season it a little bit. Man, that's just yummy.
Oh, I bet it
It
is.
is.
I
It's
bet
really
it is.
yummy.
Well, I'll tell you, I've learned over the years, when you say it's yummy, it's good.
Well,
it's really good.
I've taken a lot of time in myself to teach myself how to cook this wild game, and because I enjoy shooting it and hunting it, and I know how to. I'm a meat cutter myself, so I know how to cut the meat right. And that's another thing too, is how the meat is cut right. As long as the meat is cut right and prepared right, you will have good quality cuts. You will have good quality food.
Excellent.
That's number one.
Well, one of the things, again, I know that you stay on top of me and make sure that I don't let this stuff overcook.
Well, no, you can't overcook it, because if you do, then it'll still be all right, but it'll be drier than it should.
Well, it's the difference between something that tastes okay and something that makes you want to go hunting tomorrow.
Well, yeah, exactly. You bet. That's the way I like to cook my meals, and I find that it's enjoyable. People think that wild game is such a hard meat to cook, and if you take a little bit of extra time, you can come out with excellent tasting food.
Well, again, the difference between this and what you buy in the grocery store is that this has a lower fat content.
Oh, yeah.
And therefore it dries out faster.
Right.
So as a result, what I notice with your preparations is, hey, pre-cook it or braise it or whatever
That's
quickly.
right.
get it out. Then if you're going to use a sauce, it can finish cooking.
Oh yeah,
in the
exactly,
sauce.
exactly.
And that's one of the things that I think is so good. And again, it's one of those things that makes all of these preparations a great duck camp or goose camp
for
type
sure.
of meal,
You know,
because you
that's
can
it.
set these recipes up. You can pre-cook and chop and do all that stuff at lunchtime, go back out and hunt the afternoon, and when you come back in, if you've crock potted it or put it
you
in the
could-
oven on low,
You could crock pot this one too.
you come back in and you've got just an incredible meal there.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So these are ready to turn again.
Yes, they are. And,
As soon as I get juice from the top,
right,
I'm going to turn the meat.
exactly.
Okay. And that's going to keep me from overcooking the meat.
That's right.
Okay.
Because
I'm learning a lot
when you
right here.
turn it, you don't have to cook it that much longer.
So how long am I going to leave after I've turned? A minute?
30 seconds to a minute in that area. That's tops.
Okay. So
Because
that's been in there about 30 seconds?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's, you see it's already starting to brown. If you
Yep.
pick that up, you can see it. See, that's all you want.
Good.
Okay?
Like that?
Yes, that's the way you want it. You just, it's got to be where it's still raw in the middle, and that's
Right.
what you want.
That's
You don't
what you
want to overcook, because we're going to be doing it in the oven, so it's going to cook in the oven yet. And this way here, you don't lose any of your moisture. It's all there, and it just cooks right in with the sauce. It cooks in with everything that's there, eh?
You bet. So Mark, I've got all the meat pre-cooked.
Perfect.
Can
What
I
I'm
put
gonna
the
do-
pasta in?
Yep, I'm going to start layering this. You can do the pasta while I'm doing that.
Excellent.
Okay.
Do you like it broken?
Yeah, you can break it in half. That's all fine.
Very good. Whole container?
I think we can do the whole thing. What the heck, why not?
Very good.
Okay, what I'm going to do here, we're going to be layering the Parmesan the way I do it here. I put the sauce in first. Okay. And give it a good portion on the bottom of your pan, your roaster, your casserole dish, whatever you want to use to make your Parmesan dish here. Then I put in the breast. There we go. It's one layer here. And when you've got that layer in there, what I do is I take my seasoning here, and what this seasoning is 5 tablespoons of seasoning salt, 2 tablespoons of black pepper, and 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. And you mix that together, that gives a real nice flavor. Okay, then I add my peppers. Well, first, before I do that, that's right, I put my Parmesan in. And you can put as much Parmesan as you want. It doesn't matter. You can put lots, you can put a little less. And I use mozzarella cheese too, just to give it a little bit of a base.
Nice consistency too.
Oh yeah, it's very good. Then I add my peppers and onions. Just throw it in like so. Doesn't have to be anything fancy here. And then from
Well, I'll
there,
tell you, it sure tastes fancy.
then we put another layer of sauce.
And that's your homemade sauce.
Yes, it's my homemade sauce.
Wow. I've waited years for your homemade sauce. Well, we're always out looking for birds. We don't get a lot of time.
Well,
Do you
yeah.
sometimes use something out of a jar?
Well, you can. If you can't make homemade sauce, you can go to a local grocery store and grab
Whatever you like in a
you
jar?
can buy whatever you like in a jar of sauce, pre-made sauce, and it'll work just as well.
Well, I've had your sauce. It's not going to work as well as your sauce, but
No, homemade's never, bought is never the same as homemade anyways.
you bet.
And you just keep on making your layers like this and add. Is that boiling yet?
It's starting to.
Okay, once it boils hard, we're going to just turn it off and then leave it sit again Season again.
Do we want the top on
If
our
you want
pasta?
to put your mixture, after you mix your seasonings together, you can put it into a shaker and shake it, make it easier for you to put onto the meat.
Do you like the top on your pasta while it boils or off?
On. Parmesan again.
Mozzarella
Matzo
again.
again. And your matzo, you can put as much as you want. There's no set amount. You can put a little bit, you can put lots. If you don't want any matzo in there, you just want Parmesan, you can do that too. It doesn't really matter.
That's tasty mozzarella. Bay leaf.
Yeah, they're hard to chew.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, just watching this, if you don't like this, you don't like to eat.
Well, you know, some people don't like tomato sauce. Some people can't eat tomato
What
sauce.
a great, what a great concoction this
Oh
is.
yeah, it's very, very, very tasty.
It's funny, we had a guide come in to help last season, and you had made me a dish of this.
Yeah.
And a guy came in on Sunday, and it was time to go scouting, and he said, look, I want to go get something to eat. And I said, I've got just the thing for you right here in the
Yeah.
fridge. Let me heat it up for you. So I took some out, and I heated it up, put it on a plate, gave it to him. I said, you got to tell me what you think of it right away. He said, oh, this is great. I said, now tell me what it is. He said, was it elk? And I said, try again. He said, is it? I said, I don't know what it is. I said,
Yeah.
it's goose. No way. It's absolutely, no way. You're lying.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
doing it like this, and if you don't like the wild taste, this does cut the wild taste out of it
Well, yeah, and you
to
know,
a point.
there's, when I eat your preparations, I never taste what people refer to as a wild taste.
Right.
The wild taste to me has always been kind of a livery flavor.
Right,
And-
exactly.
And I don't get that in any of your preparations.
Don't open it.
Okay.
The reason I turned the pasta off now is it's been boiling.
Right.
By the time we're done setting this and putting in the oven,
That'll
the
be
pasta will
just
be
fine.
ready.
Okay. So you just bring that pasta to a boil, leave it covered, turn it off.
That is correct.
Finish your layering.
Yep.
Now this dish looks like it feeds about 165 people.
This dish will feed
Oh, it's
30 people easy.
oh, there's no doubt.
Easy.
And now
30
how many
people.
how many geese are in this?
Oh, what do I got here? 2, 4, 10?
10 or 12, okay.
Oh, yeah, at least that.
That's why the way that we have the recipes set up on this DVD, they're excellent for the goose camp or deer camp or,
Oh, yeah.
or family gatherings. You know, if you're cooking for fewer people, just
Mm-hmm.
a couple of people or whatever, you need to divide the recipes by the portions.
Right.
We'll outline at the end.
Now this here, if let's say you're out at the deer camp or the duck camp and you don't have a stove, if you have a barbecue,
Right?
you can do it in your barbecue too.
Finish it
Oh
off in
yeah,
the,
you
in the
bet.
grill. Okay.
You bet. Just you can get it all ready at home and just bring it out, put your barbecue on low. You're set.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. You can set the whole thing up. and then
Oh,
just
for
finish
sure.
it off.
You better believe it.
Well, that's how you finish it off quite often, isn't it? You
I've
use
done
your
it.
grill?
Yep. If you don't, especially in the summertime, or if it's hot and you really don't want to heat up your house,
You bet.
get your barbecue going, chuck her on there,
Keep all the heat outside.
and you're set. Well, there's enough here for
Quite a few
a
people.
lot of people. That's all right. We're making.
You know,
it-
the this particular dish, you know, with most Italian dishes, they seem to get better and better and better as they sit in the fridge. you
Oh
know.
yeah.
So
you know.
I mean, that to me is a serving for one person for about a week.
This here,
Oh yeah,
you could probably eat on this for a week and a half.
I know. You know what? I've smuggled one of those one day out of the room there.
Yeah.
Just kind of Kept it to myself.
Well, I bet you. You bet. Okay, on this last layer, I only put Parmesan because I'm going to just put sauce on top. I'm not going to put the cheese on until the end after it's done.
Okay, so you're going to cook this for a little while.
This is going into the oven for 2 hours.
Okay, 2 hours. At what temperature?
350.
350 for 2 hours.
Yeah.
What a dish.
And see, we used up all the sauce. There we go.
So it looks like all the layers are done. You're going to put this back in the oven for a little while?
You bet. We're going to put it in there for at least 2 hours.
Okay.
We'll cover it up here. And when you put your foil on, make sure that you tuck your foil in.
You really like to seal that
Seal it tight.
flavor and seal that juice in there.
Seal it tight. You don't want to lose any moisture. And we're going to put that in the oven there for 2 hours. You know, you can check it if you think you need to cook it a little bit longer. You can cook it a little bit longer, but 2 hours usually is
2 hours at 350 usually finishes it off.
Yes. Like you don't even have to open the oven. Put it in at 350, come back in 2 hours.
Betcha.
Now we're going to put this in the oven for 2 hours at about 350. But we have one that's been prepared here a few hours before. That's ready.
No, you put a little mozzarella on the top there.
Yeah, we put a little matzah after, when it's done, when you find that it's done, you just take the rest of your matzah stuff, put it on there, put it back in the oven, let it melt, and you're ready to go. You can eat it with rice. Today we're going to have it with pasta. You can eat it by itself. It's totally up to you how you want to have it served. Okay?
I can't wait.
All right, now we're going to go and, you want to grab one of those plates over there, Sean?
Sure.
I'm going to check the pasta here. Oh yeah, this is good. All right, let's eat. This is ready to go.
Thought you would never say let's eat, Mark.
Okay, let's.
Oh, looking good.
Do you want that right on top or on the side?
However you suggest it,
Well,
buddy.
let's just do it like so here.
I have learned to follow your lead on all this.
Just go like so. Just grab some of this sauce and just pour it over top.
Oh,
So.
baby.
There you go.
Mine? You gonna have some?
Oh, I'll make another plate
Oh,
up here.
you bet.
You better believe it.
Oh. It's not easy being me, having to taste this stuff all the time. You know, I'm gonna put knives out here, but you really don't need them.
No, this is going to be so tender.
Well, you might cut your pasta with the knife.
You might want to.
Do you use a spoon with your pasta?
No, I don't, even though I'm part Italian.
Yeah.
I don't. Here we go. I'm going to put a little more sauce on here.
Oh, man. That
All
is
right,
so
man.
good.
We've been
It's
waiting
so
this
good.
long. Let's dig in
You
and
bet.
taste it.
Oh, there's no doubt. I am
I'm just going to go on this side here.
way ready.
Let's see how this baby tastes.
Unbelievable. Why is it that every time you make this, it tastes better than the last time?
Fantastic.
Well, and
That is so tender. We have knives in our hand here, but really, honestly, you don't need a knife. You just can cut it with your fork. It's so tender and so juicy and so flavorful. Man, I tell you, it's just awesome. Yummy.
you know, Mark, every time I have this, it's better than the last time. I find myself dreaming about it.
Well,
Your Goose Parmesan is absolutely one of the best things I've ever had in my life. And for people to try this and then to tell them that
Oh,
it's
yeah.
game,
oh, for sure. You
They-
can't
they'll-
go wrong. And I tell you, it's too bad that the people that are watching this video right now can't taste it the way we are. Because I tell you, once they're done cooking it, they will know what we're talking about.
well, that's
here.
absolutely right. If they follow the easy steps that you've
Oh,
just
yeah.
laid out,
You bet. You can't go wrong.
cooking game will never be the
This
same.
is flawless. You can't go wrong with this. It's so simple. You cannot go wrong with this dish.
Thanks.
Cheers.